Hello, hi and welcome to another booktube video. In this video I'm just going to share with you a little book haul. I know I've only just done one recently, but I have bought a lot more books and my husband's banned me from buying any more books for the next couple of months until at least I've read some of the books I have bought, but I'm hoping to read quite a few in the next month or so because I want to read the shortlist for both the Women's Prize for Fiction and the Walter Scott Prize for Historical Fiction. At present I'm still on Armidale. I'm about 680 pages in out of 800, so we're getting there. It's starting to drag a little bit. I'm really sad to say, like, I really enjoyed up to about page 500, and I'm still enjoying it, but at the moment it's kind of gone from 5 stars to 4 stars, and that's mainly because I think Collins is taking a lot more pages to say stuff than he needs to. Especially there's sections on Lydia's diary that goes on a bit longer than I feel it needs to, and Mr. Bashwood as well. His part takes a bit longer than it needs to. I love his storytelling and it's so layered, there's so many different things going on, but it seems now we've got to the end, it's kind of all the different things have stopped and it's now concentrating on one sort of plot, but it's just taken a long time to get there. But I'm still enjoying it. It's still 4 stars at the moment. I hope maybe it'll explode at the end and I'll really enjoy it. But anyway, on to the book haul. So, as I mentioned, Women's Prize for Fiction. So the Women's Prize for Fiction, I think in another video I did show I had 3 of the books, but it wasn't a book haul video, so I'm just going to show them again. So the first book is Isabella Hamad, Enter Ghost, which was one of the ones that I showed last time. Another one I showed the last time was Anne M. Wright, The Wren. And then I believe the other one I showed was Soldier Sailor by Claire Kilroy, but not in a book haul video, so I'm showing them again. So the other 3 books in the shortlist, which I now have: Kate Grenville, Restless Dolly Maunder. The reviews on this, from what I've seen on BookTube, have been a bit mixed. Some people seem to really enjoy it, other people think it's a little bit sort of meh. So I'm excited to see what I think of that, but I think I'll probably enjoy it from what most people say. The next book is Brotherless Night by V.V. Ganeshananthan. That one there. A lot of people seem to really enjoy this, so I'm excited to see what that's like. And the final book of the 6 for the Women's Prize for the Women's Prize for Short. Oh my God, what am I saying? For the shortlist for Women's Prize for Fiction is River East, River West by Aubrey Lescure. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So that is the shortlist for the Women's Prize for Fiction. Next up, the Walter Scott Prize for Historical Fiction shortlist. So the Walter Scott Prize for Historical Fiction, the shortlist. The first book on the shortlist is Tom Cruise, The New Life. It's not a book haul, I've already had it, I've read it, I've done a video on it, but it's part of the shortlist, so I thought I'd better just give it a quick mention. So the other books that I have now bought, Kevin Jared Hussain, Hungry Ghosts. A lot of people seem to enjoy that, so we'll see what that is like. In the Upper Country, Kai Thomas. I've not seen many people say much about this, so that'll be interesting to see what that is like. Then we have Joseph O'Connor, My Father's House. A lot of people seem to really love this, especially on Twitter. I've seen a lot of praise for this, so I'm really excited to read that. We'll see what that's like. Next one, Tan Twang Eng, The House of Doors. Mixed reviews on that again. We'll see what that is like. And then the last one on the shortlist was Rose Tremaine, Absolutely and Forever. It's quite a small one, actually, to be fair. And it's the only one I had to buy in hardback. Yeah, it's 170 odd pages. But yeah, it wasn't released in paperback. Wasn't released in paperback just yet. I think it comes out in June. So, but I want to read it before the winner is announced. So I bought it anyway. My plan is to start with the Walter Scott Prize shortlist because that's what I'm more interested in, and then I'm going to try and crack on the Women's Prize shortlist. Both, I think, the winners are being announced around the 12th, 13th of June. I think one is one day and the next one is the next day. They're like literally consecutively after each other. I'm hoping to get them all done by then, but we'll see. So next up on Book Twitter, I did find another book prize, which was the Theakston Old Peculiar Crime Novel of the Year. I haven't read a lot of crime. I did as a teenager, like young adult crime. And I quite enjoyed that. So I've looked at the long list for this prize and picked out a couple that I thought sounded really interesting. So that, I think there's about 16 books on the long list. I wasn't going to get 16, I've got all of these to read. But the ones that I found really interesting by reading the blurb which I'm interested to get into. I don't think I'm going to be able to read them before the winner is announced. Once again, I think it's mid-June. But the first one, Strange Sally Diamond, Liz Nugent, that sounds really interesting. And I've seen a lot of talk about that on Twitter as well, so I'm excited to read that. The next one I got was The Close by Jane Casey. This sounds really interesting, a bit dark and a bit thriller-like, so I'm excited for that one. The other one, Tim Weaver, The Last Goodbye, sounds really interesting. So yeah, there's that. And then the last one I bought, yeah, I'm not sure, like, it sounds like it's going to be a lot different to the rest, but it sounds really interesting, so I had to buy it. The Cliff House by Chris Brickmar, so I'm going to give that a go as well. And they're the 4 that I got out of the 16 for the shortlist. I don't think crime is going to be my main passion when it comes to reading, but I think it'd be quite interesting to see what they're like. I may enjoy it. And finally, I've just got some miscellaneous books that I've bought in the last month or so. So on Twitter, I saw a particular author mentioned, and it was a series of books they did that people seemed really interested in. So I looked up the author, and it seems they did another series before this. So I bought the whole set because it was available as a deal on Amazon. So the author is Kerry Maniscalco, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and it is the Stalking Jack the Ripper series of books. So there's 4 books here. Yeah, Stalking Jack the Ripper, Hunting Prince Dracula, Escaping from Houdini, Capturing the Devil. Looking at it now, it seems like it's young adult fiction, but, you know, I don't mind that, a bit of easy reading, especially, you know, with the Stalking Jack the Ripper, Victorian era, a bit gothic-y. Yeah, why not? Some light reading anyway. And then just a couple of other books that I've bought in the last month. This one, once again, I came across on both Twitter and Amazon, actually. It sounds like it'd be quite interesting, sort of like fantasy horror-ish. Raw Blood by Catriona Ward. Yeah, I haven't seen much else about it, apart from a few people on Twitter, but mainly on Amazon I saw a lot of reviews and it said it was really good. So sounds like it's right up my street. Old school gothic novel. I mean, what else do I want, really? The other one I saw heavily talked about on Twitter, Kate Griffin, Fine Shade. Once again, a bit gothic-y. Sounds like it's going to be something that I'm going to enjoy, one of my comfort reads, hopefully. And then this one was recommended by someone on one of my videos. I think it was the bookshelf tour video where I had all my Iceland memorabilia. So from the channel Bryndis Reads a Lot. Bryndis herself is Icelandic. I think that's probably what drew her to my little collection of trolls and various other bits and my love for Iceland. And she recommended Eva Björg Egisdóttir, and there's a series of books this author's done, and the first in the series, I hope it is, I said it was the first, is The Creak on the Stairs. So I'm really looking forward to reading that. It seems like it is going to be like a crime book, but it's set in Iceland, so that's probably going to sway me a lot. And finally, last but not least, a book that I've seen heavily talked about on Twitter, which I'm really excited to read, and the blurb, it sounds really good. And that is The List of Suspicious Things by Jenny Godfrey. Once again, had to get hardback, but it sounded really interesting, so I had to get it anyway. So that is the final book in this book haul. You can see I've bought at least 20 or more than that, 25 books in the last month, and I still have loads more to read. And also the classics that I need to get back into. Oh, I just spotted one that I haven't done a book haul on, but I think I mentioned it before. And that is The Maiden by Kate Foster. I think I said about the cover, it like drew me in. I was really interested when I did one of the book tag videos. I believe this was on the long list for the Women's Prize. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't make the shortlist, but it sounded really interesting, and it's also a bit of historical fiction as well. So anyway, that is my book haul. Hopefully I'm going to be finished with Armid out in the next few days because it's really starting to drag. Today's my day off, so I'm going to try and crack it out, as well as clean the house and do a roast dinner. And yeah, I hope to start on the shortlist for Walter Scott Prize this week. I'm hoping by the looks of it, most of them seem like decent size, you know, around the 300 to 400 page mark. Usually, especially if they're decent stories, I can crack those out in about 3 or 4 days. So I'm hoping to get through the shortlist in the next 3 weeks, and that leaves me maybe 2 or 3 weeks to do the women's prize. Also, at the beginning of June, I am going on holiday for a week, and it's going to be a beach holiday, so that's plenty of reading time, so I can take a few books with me, maybe do a few videos in the sun just to do my book reviews. But yeah, anyway, that's my book haul. Thanks for watching. Anyway, until next time, bye.